Hi, I'm Beth Strathman with Firebrand Consulting. Welcome to my channel. Now, many teams I work with are high performing on paper. They hit deadlines, they meet their key performance indicators, they solve problems. But here's the rub. They're often solving yesterday's problems, not building capacity for what's coming next. So today I want to talk to you about something that many teams overlook. Team learning. Not individual development plans, not technical training, learning together as a team. And if you lead a team in a growing organization, I want to challenge you with this. Is your team learning at the speed of change, or are they just really busy but falling behind? Especially in growing middle market companies, teams are often stuck in go, go, go mode. They're rewarded for activity, execution, putting out fires, short-term wins, and getting things done quickly. But over time, that creates a culture of reaction instead of evolution. Here's the problem with that. When you're only reacting, you're always a step behind because in a fast-changing business landscape, the best teams aren't just efficient, they're adaptive. They don't just work together, they learn together. David Clutterbuck, he's a pioneer in team coaching, puts it this way. High-value teams are those that consciously learn their way into the future. In other words, the best teams don't just solve today's problems, they prepare for tomorrow's challenges. So let me ask you, is your team building that kind of learning capacity, or are you still solving the same problems just with new tools? Let's look at what an adaptive, high-performing team does differently. They build learning into their operating system. They do this by aligning learning with the business strategy and market trends. They set aside time to reflect on performance together. They see mistakes as opportunities to grow and evolve. They invite challenge from both inside and outside the team. They allocate time for both individual and collective learning, and they leverage each other as co-coaches and thinking partners. These teams know that learning isn't separate from performance. It drives it. So they treat learning as a strategic imperative, not as an afterthought. So when was the last time your team stepped back, not just to debrief a project, but to explore how you're working together? When did you last challenge your assumptions? How often are you stretching your perspective beyond your industry bubble? If you're struggling to answer, don't worry, you're not alone. But it's a signal that your team might be operating on old muscle memory, and that can be a liability. So here's a quick reality check. 3 signs your team may be learning resistant. Number 1, meetings are all updates. There's no space for real dialogue or new thinking. Number 2, mistakes get swept under the rug. No reflection on them, just move on. And number 3, there's no shared learning agenda. Maybe everyone's learning, but not together. Sound familiar? This isn't just a cultural issue. It's a performance issue. And it's a strategic issue. So how do you shift the mindset? Let me give you 3 simple but powerful practices to get started. First, make reflection as a team a habit. Every 2 weeks, block 30 minutes to talk as a team about what you're noticing, what's shifting in your industry, or what assumptions need to be challenged. Carve out space in meetings to ask what worked, what didn't work, and what surprised you as a team. Second, invite insight and challenges from outside your team. Ask each team member to bring in something they've read, heard, or seen from outside the company. Discuss what it means for your team and bring in other voices like customers, peers, even cross-functional colleagues to shake up your thinking. Third, build 2-way feedback loops. Don't wait for annual reviews. Make giving and receiving feedback a routine. Up to the leader, down from the leader to the team, and across between peers on the team. Fourth, build a team development plan, including what your team needs to learn to meet future challenges that are coming 12 to 24 months out from now. The best learning cultures aren't about formal training. They're about making learning part of how the team thinks and operates. When team members coach one another, when curiosity is expected, when learning is shared and not siloed, that's when the team becomes more than the sum of its parts. Here's the key. Leadership sets the tone. As a team leader or executive, your mindset becomes the team's mindset. If you model curiosity, if you share what you're learning and what you're still figuring out, you create the space for others to do the same. Learning becomes safe, and when it's safe, it can become powerful. Well, here's the bottom line. In today's world, your team's edge isn't what it knows, it's how fast it can learn together. Stop solving yesterday's problems. Start building the capacity for what's next, because the future isn't waiting, and your team can't afford to wait either. If you want help building your team's learning capacity and creating habits that actually stick, let's talk. Visit my website. I'll put the link in the description below so that you can learn how I can help your team grow into its next level of performance and stay ahead of change, not fall behind it. Thanks for watching, and keep learning and leading with clarity, courage, and curiosity.